Hello and welcome back to AJT Productions. Fans of this channel will know we're quite avid campers. The last trip we've just done, our latest episode of the Trailblazer series, click the link, was our 10th big hiking trip. Throughout them 10 trips, we've learned a lot, we've ate a lot, we've chat a lot, but we've gained a lot of experience. You know, we've got a lot of good gear now. We've got good waterproofing, good cooking equipment, good sleeping equipment, good camping equipment. With it being our 10th trip, I wanted to set myself a little challenge. That challenge being camping on a budget. Back to reality, old school, as if it was our very first trip, as if I was just asked to go camping. I had nothing in me pack, or I just got the urge to go camping myself. And for that, I've decided to set myself a £20 budget, which I'm going to go out, I'm going to go shopping, and I'm going to buy whatever I can to try and survive one night camping in the wild. So stay tuned to find out how I do in this £20 budget camping challenge. Well, I'm going to give myself a £20 budget. I'm going to go and see what equipment I can buy for that, including food, sleeping, shelter, fire, and we're going to do a night's camping on £20.
Wow.
Ciao, We've just parked up. We've got 20 British pounds. And we're going to try and get enough stuff to camp for the night. £1. £3. Top, £5. This will be our blanket, £3. Polar fleece throw. It's a little bit short for me, but it looks nice and thick compared to like these ones. So yeah, doing well. So my top, blanket and hot dogs came up to £8.28. Don't know exactly how much we've got left. We'll see. We've got 5, 6, 7, 8, 72 left. Ooh. My last two shoptions, TJ Hughes and the charity shop, are closed. So we're going to have a quick look downstairs, and if not, it's back to Poundland for some bubble wrap. Not back to Poundland quite yet.
No, we've got one more.
We found the Home Bargains. I feel like it'll make a good sleeping bag. I feel like I could even fit in there, balled up. Unfortunately, it's out of the budget. It's only faux fare. It'd be very nice if I was a millionaire. An iron board.
That would be perfect though.
An iron board would keep me off the ground. 15 quid. Home and Bargains had nothing. Looks like it's back to Poundland for some bubble wrap.
Yeah.
We've got bubble wrap here. 5 by 30. So I'm going to get 2. Put them next to each other and overlap them. That should keep me warm. Vegetable soup to go with my hot dogs. £1. That's £3 in here, and I'll have £5.72 left. I haven't purchased a bag, so I'm sort of filled up all my pockets and I've got this. Everyone must think I'm a shoplifter. Found ourselves in the peculiar position of having £5 of our £20 budget left. And I just don't know what to spend it on.
We've got basically everything.
Got everything I need. £1.45.
Fleecy ones are for free on
We're going to get another fleece with our £3 and we're going to have £1 left. And the final buy, 8-pack of cappuccinos for 79p. If we've got any pence left over, I'm going to get a couple of breaks, or as many as I can. 20p. Right, we've got our haul. Some stuff in my pockets as well, but this is everything. I've got a little bit of change left over. Wish us luck. A few other things I could have got. Instead of me tarp, for an extra £2, I could have got this play tunnel, although it would have been a bit too short for me at 150 centimetres. And for £1 more than me bubble wrap, I could have got this thermal car windscreen protector, which likely would have made a very good bottom base layer. I have 78 pence left over, which means I could have actually got 2 bottles, 4 litres of water. Comes up to 78, which is exactly what I've got left.
No way.
To reduce plastic waste, I'm going to take 4 litres of water. I didn't even work this out. This just happens to be the case. I've done me shopping. We're going to take a look at the haul. Let's begin with the most important thing, the tent. For the tent, we have a 3 by 1.8 metre tarp with 8 eyelets in. For my sleeping mat, we were unable to find any foam rolls or any insulation. So we have 2 rolls of 5 metre bubble wrap. For my blanket, we have polar fleece. They feel really thick, fleecy. They're a bit short for me, 120 by 150, but I got 2. To start a fire starter Twizzlers. For me lighting, 80 lumen head torch, batteries not included. For dinner, hot dogs, hot dog buns, vegetable soup. For dessert, 4 chocolate bars, and to keep me warm throughout the night, 8 cappuccinos. I would have gotten 4 litres of water, 2 2-litre bottles, 39p each, but I didn't want to create more plastic waste when I've got reusable bottles at home. So this is all we're going to be taking. You might be thinking, how are you going to have your cappuccinos? Taking that. I'm going to put my hot dogs on the fire, cook my hot dogs, eat my hot dogs, and I'm going to use my hot dog can to boil my water, and it'll be my cup. Sounds disgusting, probably will be, but in the spirit of the budget challenge, I'm not going to take my thermos. I'm going to take all this stuff for £20, and that's going to be it. The only 2 concessions that have had to be made are A, the 3 AAA batteries for the head torch, and B, I couldn't find any rope, any string. So in order to string up the tarp, I am going to take some washing line. Now, anyone can get a bit of scrap rope from the back garden, from the neighbour's back garden. It's not the correct rope for tying the tarp, but it's what I'm going to be taking. Right then, viewers, we are on our way to see if it's even possible to spend the night in the wild on a £20 budget. Stay tuned to find out more. It's a waterproof top layer. The bag. Spooky. Throw this. And I'm gonna get set up. One thing I forgot to show off is this cool clip. It attaches onto a strap, and it's just a clip that goes around the rim of any bottle. Clicks in. And it's a really handy bottle carrier. Alright then, so I've got the ridge line set up, as you can see. I've just snapped a few sticks. I'm going to use these to peg it down on each side, like so. Peg this one down as well. Just to give you an idea of what we're working with here. That's how you set up a tarp as an A-frame tent. You can see the tarp comes quite flush with the ground here, curves outwards, so I'm hoping that any rain will run off. Quite a few weeds around here, so I'm just gonna try and pull them out before I carry on. Luckily I've just found a nice piece of slate in there. Just gonna use that to scrape the ground like this. There we go. Clear out if I can. Okay, ground in there is pretty clear now. I'm going to roll out my bubble wrap bed. Not the greatest coverage, the old bubble wrap bed, but it is better than sleeping on the floor, just a little bit. Here's something that I never revealed to you until now. Inside my waterproof coat, I brought a hoodie. I brought a hoodie because I knew I'd have this plastic bag left over. So one, it's an extra layer if I need it. But two, I can put my hoodie in this bag. And you've got yourself a camping pillow right there. With that, I'm also just going to pop down my waterproof jacket, and boom, we're all pitched. I'm going to save my blankets for right now just because I want to make sure they stay dry and dirt free for as long as they can. Oh, pretty worn out actually. It's probably because I've got so many layers on. I'm actually really warm right now, which isn't really meant to be in the spirit of this camp, but you know, what can you do? Got a nice thick jumper on, a fleecy waterproof coat, waterproof pants, tracky bottoms and long johns. Layering up is the important thing to having a warm, nice camp. So yeah, quite worried about having a fire directly in front of the porch as my ridge line's just above it. It's made out of plastic, so we'll see about that. I was just going to give you all a little view of how I've set this tarp up. So I've looped it around this tree and tied a knot there, which won't slip. And then I've made sure it's nice and tight. I've threaded it into this eyelet, underneath the tarp, all the way across and out of the other eyelet, where I've then tied the rope around this tree, like so. And I'm not good at knots, so I use this stick as a toggle. Also here, I'm just going to climb into the tent to give you all a view of what it's looking like from the inside. So this is what it looks like on the inside of the tent. Fairly roomy, maybe a bit too big, but it's nice. Plenty of room in there for me to put my bag and all my stuff in case it rained in the night. While I climbed into the tent, I realised the ground was still a bit cold with my bubble wrap, so I put my waterproof coat down underneath me, hoping that the little extra layer will just give me a little bit more insulation from the coldness of the ground. But as you can see, there's plenty of room in there. It's should be a nice roomy tent. Right, gang, put a couple of rocks there. Actually, I had to take me top layer off, and I was getting quite warm, which is nice. And that's because I've just been out collecting a load of sticks in preparation for a fire. Not a big fire, bear in mind. Just a nice little fire, big enough to hopefully get some embers, cook us some hot dogs, maybe make us a brew. In fact, I'm not going to drink that. I'm going to use my bladder, because that's my brew and wash and water. Lovely job. One thing I didn't really think about was the amount of creepy crawlies. I've had to evict about 4 spiders now from my tent. And by evict, I mean flick them off my coat. So they're still in there. Probably going to get revenge on me later on. I'm thinking building my fire just here in front of me. Hopefully that'll let some of the heat go into my tent and warm it up, as well as be in a nice close spot. These rocks are not the greatest cheer. It's better than nothing. Fire's going as best it can. The wood's just quite wet, unfortunately, which is a bit of a shame. It's quite smoky as well. Oh, smoke in my eyes. Oh yeah, that looks like it's going a lot better actually. As soon as I put them 3 pieces of birch on, I think that trend continues. I'm just going to put my kind of hot dogs right next to the fire. I think the wood's all quite wet. Damn it. Despite the satisfying snaps. Oh, hot wood. Hot. Oh, damn it. I really just think it's these things giving it most of its energy. Little pieces of fire tinder on there to get it going. Oh shit, I've actually forgot to open the tin for the hot dogs. I don't know if I've even brought a fork for the hot dogs. I don't remember putting one in the bag. Get a good amount of these. Oh, it's so smoky. Oh, I have to stand up. I'm just trying to build it up to at least get a bed of hot coals. At least the smoke will be good to drive bugs out the tent. Nice gust of wind for us. I don't know if I have anything to take my hot dogs off or get them out. That'd also mean I don't have anything to mix me cappuccino sachet with. That's unfortunate. Oh, it is very smoky. Very, very smoky. It's not nice. Oh, I'm sitting here right now. I'll just move myself back a little bit on the fire. As it was getting very smoky. I think it was because I was blocking a lot of the wind from being able to pass through. The hot dogs, don't really know how they're doing. Let me just have a look and see. Do I have any? Last time I used this coat, I think I was doing work on a roof, maybe. It's not looking likely. The reason I mentioned the work on the roof was because just before it came, I had a bunch of massive screws in the pocket and I took them all out because I thought I don't need screws with me. It would have been bloody perfect. Big old screws to check your hot dogs out. Tell you though, the can's very hot, but them hot dogs are certainly steaming. Ooh, that's some hot water. Those are some hot dogs. Well, that's a bit of good news. The dogs are hot. Oh, my fire's just cloud. Annoying. And it's just gone out. Ladies and gentlemen, she's back. She's back to life. The fire saves me from the cold. I saved the fire from an untimely demise. I will say this is definitely one of the tougher camps I've done. Reason being, I haven't expelled that much energy, so I'm not feeling very tired. Although I've just had a thought about my hot dog picking up solution. What if I can use this lid, bend it like this, and use it like a pair of tongs? Let's find out. It'd help if I weren't getting smoked out. It would really help. They're warm enough to handle with my fingers now. So here I am, crying in the woods at midnight on the £20 budget camp because I'm getting absolutely smoked out. And I just can't bear it. It's unfortunate that the smoke is the thing that's doing it right now. It shows a bit of realism. You know, try to do this in October, you are going to get wet wood. Luckily my hot dog buns are pre-cut and they're now hot enough to handle. There's dinner. We've not got no ketchup, no mustard, no crispy onions. It wasn't in the budget. We're lucky buns were. My plan, after a few hot dogs, I brought a bin bag with me, is to put any that I'm not going to eat in the bin, take them home to the dog, try and use some water, wash out the tin and throw a couple cappuccino sachets in there. Use the tin as my cup and my kettle. But looking at this fire, don't know how likely that's going to be. Yeah, I don't know how likely that's going to be to work out. We don't have many embers here. I think it's like 85% those. What? I think it's about 85% the fucking fire starters that are burning. So anyway, I'm going to stop rambling. I'm going to eat some more hot dogs and I'll see you soon. Well guys, I've switched up tactics. I've got in my tent. I just threw on a bunch of wood, a couple of fire starters. My tent is lovely and warm, although when it gets smoky it doesn't half fill with smoke up at the top. I feel like I'm in a building. It's lovely and warm though. Yeah, so I've just throw on a few pieces of wood,
stop sitting out there, my back's uncomfortable and that. Get in bed, because I feel like all this crying, my eyes just want to be closed. So I'll see, I might not even need a cappuccino after all. This £20 budget challenge is well underway, if you'd ask me. We haven't yet used a single thing. In fact, I haven't fucking got a single thing out of the budget to use. I never even brought a spoon or a fork to eat me sausages or make me brew. As I thought, the fire is only maintaining when the fire starters are on. I am being absolutely bombarded with smoke. My eyes are just streaming. I feel like a little girl crying over a dropped ice cream. It's pretty hard. Well guys, the fire's burning out now. The temperature's dropping. My mat's quite thin. My little blanket, sleeping bag is not great, but that's what £20 gets you. Let's see how much sleep I get. Good morning all. 3 AM right now. Very, very cold. Very cold indeed. Slept all the way through to now. I just woke up and the ground's cold and I'm cold. I'll try and go back to sleep. Now is the real test. Just started to rain. Hopefully, or at least stay dry. It's 4 AM. I'm going to consider that the end of the camping challenge, I think. Wake up and start making tracks. I slept all the way through from about midnight till 3:30, and then from 3:30 to 4 now I've just been freezing cold and just unable to find a comfortable position. I'm going to call this one at 4 AM because the sun doesn't rise today till 7 and I've got work at 8.
Oh, a little snail's made its way all the way up here. Hey, little buddy.
I'm going to pack up and start heading home so that maybe I can get another hour's sleep before work and a warm drink because my throat's feeling pretty chalky. I'd consider that a successful £20 challenge. We've come out, we've camped up, we've proven that on a £20 budget it can be done. You might be cold, but it can be done.
Well, I've done it. A one-night camp with only £20 worth of gear. I slept pretty well when I got into the tent after the fire burnt down until about 3:30 in the morning. When I woke up, fire was long gone. The ground was just sucking all of the heat out of my body. It was so cold. I wasn't able to get back asleep after that. I packed up everything about 4 in the morning and headed home. Just going to give you a rundown now of how everything held up. Starting with the tarp, the tent, the shelter. It worked well. It rained a little bit in the night. There was no leaks. I was dry. My gear was dry. It was me first time using a tarp on a camp, something that I've always wanted to do, something that I've tried to do in the past, but not been able to. That was an achievement. I think learning more configurations for the tarp would be essential if I wanted to go tarp camping in the future. I feel like the A-frame setup I had was not the best setup that I could have had. It was allowing the wind to blow right through. If it was a windy, rainy night and that rain was coming at an angle, I would have been getting wet. The third thing with the tarp, cordage. Like you've seen, I just had washing line, which is not a very grippy. It's a strong rope, but it's not the right type of rope for this. So definitely, if I was taking a tarp on a proper gear camp, I'd take a better tarp as well as proper cordage, because it just makes things so much easier if you're able to tie knots and be able to tie them confidently. So that was the tarp. Next, the blankets. So for £2, these blankets were very warm. I was quite happy with how warm they actually were. As soon as I had it over me, I didn't really feel many of the elements over top. The issue with the blankets is too short for my length, and as well, not wide enough to be able to wrap under this side and under this side and be able to just stay in the blanket. I did use one of the blankets, as will have seen, as a pillow and one on top of me. That was because I had enough layers to be warm. But ideally what I could have done if I knew how to sew was sew the two blankets that I bought together to make one big blanket. That would have done me a lot better. Yeah, they're good. Not for a autumn, winter camp. If you were going on a summer camp with a tarp, you couldn't complain. If you were tall, two of them stitched together, perfect. Now, probably the biggest letdown of the camp, the bubble wrap bed. I was hoping that 10 meters of bubble wrap, that would provide me a good bit of insulation from the ground. Initially it did when I got in the tent. I felt quite warm. I didn't really feel the cold from the ground, but at the same time, I'd just been around the fire. The fire was still smouldering. It was probably providing a lot of heat. The biggest issue that I had when I woke up at 3 wasn't the coldness from the air, wasn't wetness. It was the cold from the ground. You lose most of your heat to the ground temperature. So definitely the bubble wrap was the biggest letdown. I really wish that I had more time during shopping and I could have or would have seen the car windscreen protector before the bubble wrap, because I really feel like that car windscreen protector would have done a much better job. So yeah, the bubble wrap was the biggest letdown of this camp by far. Possibly the star of the show, the highlight of the camp, the £1 Poundland head torch. Probably get a better strap, but the actual torch itself is very bright. And if you're after a head torch for £1, you really can't complain. The only downside to this was the batteries weren't included, but again, that's reflected in the price. Very happy with it. This was definitely the champion of the camp and something that I'll have in my bag as a backup head torch for future camps going forward. Next item, the fire starters. These fire starters were brilliant. I've used them before, really good. Burn really well, catch really quickly. The issue with the fire wasn't the fire lighters, it was the wood around the area where I was. You know, I was lucky them hot dogs got warm. So yeah, the fire starters were good. The fire itself was a bit of a letdown. Now we move on to the food. The hot dogs are just the standard. You can't beat them. It's a shame that I never had no condiments, no ketchup, mustard, crispy onions. That's how I like them. But they weren't in the budget, so I weren't going to take them. The buns, you know, I ate like 4 hot dogs. I ended up eating 2 in buns and then just 2 just sausages because it wasn't doing it for me. I feel like the buns could have been left out. The soup didn't get eaten. I would have ate it if the fire was able to catch. I could have tried heating it up, but the fire was needing so much management. The soup was not in scope to be warmed up. So that's another £1 that was unused. The cappuccinos, again, another letdown. Not thanks to the cappuccinos, thanks to the fire. I was saying that I didn't have any utensils to make the cappuccino, but I would have made it with a stick. I would have covered the tin and shook it. The fire again was a real letdown there. If I had some dry wood, if the fire was burning well, I would have had enough heat to eat the hot dogs, pour some cold water in, put that can back, bring it to the boil, make a brew, which that warm brew might have helped me last longer in the night, being warmer inside. Definitely something to think about is that if you are buying, like I did, bare basics, you're planning to make your brew in your used hot dog can, how are you going to mix that brew? How are you going to heat it up? That cold water has to come all the way up to temperature, and then you'll have to drink it. Something to think about. And lastly, the chocolate bars. Yeah, I didn't end up eating any of them. So again, if I had a brew, I would have enjoyed a couple of chocolate bars with it to give you that little feeling of comfort before bed. Unfortunately, the fire did not allow for such luxuries this time around. In hindsight, thinking about it, I'd leave the hot dog buns and I'd leave the soup. I'd probably even leave the chocolate bars, and I'd use that money for something warmer, or potentially, you know, something that I could rest my head on instead of the second blanket that I bought. Definitely, I was a bit luxurious on the food purchases, where really that money should have been put to warmth, shelter, insulation, comfort. Most importantly, it wasn't a part of the budget because everybody's got clothes. The clothes that I took were very warm. I had a pair of long johns on, a pair of tracky bottoms, and a pair of waterproof pants. On my top, I had a t-shirt, a really thick jumper, and then on top of that, I had my waterproof coat with my fleece inside it. When I had on the thick jumper and my coat in the night, I was like this. I could not move. I had very restricted movements. I couldn't even get my arm up here to rest my head on, which is why I had to use the second blanket as a pillow, because all of those layers really restricted my movement. So while layering up is important, layering up with the correct layers and material types is just as important. Not only did it restrict my movement when I was lying down in bed, which affected me comfort, but also the blanket, with the fact it was already too small for me, then trying to get it over me without being able to put your arms all the way back, without being able to move like really well, or just snuggle up very small underneath it. So I would say that my choice of layers, although very warm, was not the best choice of layers, and I should probably look at getting some better thermal base layers and outer layers than what I've got currently. That's a point that I'm going to take away from this and look at changing about my own camps for future winter camps and cold camps. I think ultimately, aside from the bubble wrap, was another big factor of when I woke up that I wasn't able to get back to sleep. After all that, the initial question, is it possible to do a one night camp on a £20 budget? I think I've proven that it is. Although for that price, you are going to have some trade-offs. Most notably, it's comfort, warmth, and convenience. This challenge has really been a brilliant learning experience. I was able to do the tarp setups. I was able to learn about better layering. After all that, I think I've shown that you are able to have a good time.
Oh, smoke in my eyes. Oh, hot wood. Oh, damn it. Oh, it's so smoky. It's not nice. I'm getting absolutely smoked out. Crying in the woods. Annoying. And it's just gone out.
It doesn't need to be held back by what gear you've got.
I don't know if I've even brought a fork. We've not got no ketchup, no mustard, no crispy onions. I never even brought a spoon.
How much money you've got. If you have got the urge to go out camping, you can do it for the bare minimum. I think it's definitely worth having a try at. If you've wanted to go camping, you know, you feel like, oh, I don't have a tent, I don't have this really good sleeping bag, I don't have this backpack, I don't have XYZ. You don't need it. If you've got the urge to do it, go and do it. And on that note, if you enjoyed this video, please drop a like, maybe think about subscribing. If you think about anything that I could have done differently, or you've got any comments about what you would have done differently, how I spent my budget, how you'd spend your budget, please drop a comment. I'd love to hear down below what you think. If this video does well, I'll definitely consider doing another budget challenge. I might increase the budget next time, £50 maybe. Go out, see what I can get for that. Maybe try and spend a lot more time shopping, a few days even, change the area that I camped at, put myself in a different environment with a different budget and see how that goes. If you enjoyed what you've seen here today, make sure you drop a like, subscribe, comment and let me know what you'd do with your £20 budget, and if you'd like to see me try this again with a £50 budget. Thanks for watching. AJT Productions, signing off.
What?